Hi, people of the
Hello.
internet. Sydney's
Hello.
not here because she has more important things to do than wallow in pity of
What are we
Arkansas.
going to do with her living her life while we're making a podcast?
How dare she?
What are we doing here?
I mean, hey, at least she can live her life because I'm stuck, not moving very much.
Same. I have no physical limitations, but I have two children, and so therefore,
Thing, right?
yeah, it's one of those things.
No, I showed my kids a picture of what my ankle looked like on Saturday before I went to the doctor because they were all like, "I want to see," and then they all said "ew" really, really loud.
Ew,
And I was like, "It's not even.
gross.
It's just swollen. What is gross about it?"
You remember what it was like to be? See, when I was a kid, gross was cool. Gross,
True.
everybody wanted to be gross.
One
And
of
now
my
I'm one of the.
friends
Now I'm
kids,
one of those adults that when somebody says "smell this," I'm like, "Oh, what?"
one of my friends' kids was like, "Is it gonna fall off?" And I was like, "No." And she said, "Well, if it does, can it grow another one? Like, is that how that works?" And I was like, "No."
See, and this ties back into the being a parent thing. When you're a teacher, you have to say no. Once you become a parent, that's when you can say, actually, yes, my ankle, my foot is going to fall off if you don't go clean your room. Or if you
Oh yeah,
don't
there
go
you
and if you don't give me your candy tomorrow, yes, my foot will actually fall off and it won't grow back and it will be your fault.
go. It'll be all your fault.
Yes.
Right. Any shocking results from the last 2 weeks besides Texas struggling with both Mississippi State and Kentucky?
Nothing nothing too exciting. I mean, when you're on a bye week, it's a little hard to stay locked in,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed my time sitting back on the couch. I'm excited for this weekend. I'm telling you, I feel something brewing,
I hope
and
for
I'm
your
not
sake
talking
it
about UCLA.
happens. The only, as much as I loved watching Texas struggle, because it's my like second favorite thing, watching the Aggies take over Death Valley may be my favorite thing I've ever seen.
Man, I can't believe they just fired Brian Kelly that fast. Like
They're
not
like,
not that he
nope.
didn't yeah, like not that he didn't deserve it, but also like they were just ready to get him the hell up out of there.
Pretty much they were waiting for an excuse for it to happen.
And I got to say, Louisiana's governor, thank you for taking the attention off of Florida for even a few moments by being the biggest dumbass in the conference.
I mean, I wouldn't let Scott Woodward make decisions either, but still.
You know, I personally hate that we've gotten to a point to where politicians are and the reason why I feel like I can talk on this subject is because Florida, the governor hand selected Ben Sasse to be our president of the university. The sitting Republican senator from Iowa, who had no connection to the state and had briefly served as the president of a 1,000 person private college in Iowa, appointed him to be the president of one of the largest universities in the country. And within 18 months, he had resigned after essentially embezzling millions of dollars, appointing his friends and clerks and all this shit to $300,000 and $400,000 work from home jobs that they didn't have to be in Gainesville to do.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. And then after the University of Florida, he resigns for health, his wife's health reasons, like a week before the investigation comes out of all this stuff. Convenient timing. But he continues to make $1 million a year. By the way, we will the state of Florida continues paying him $1 million a year. And
I
then
want to make $1 million a year to do nothing.
yeah, exactly. Hire all my buddies to sweet jobs where they don't have to do anything. Yeah. And then the university decided on Santa Ono who was the president at the University of Michigan, a very highly regarded administrator. And then for the first time in the almost 200-year history of the University of Florida, the governor of Florida and the Board of Governors rejected the appointment. And so now we have a guy who has never been a president or administrator of a college, sounds familiar, who's making $2 million a year to be the interim president.
Yikes.
So when I talk about Louisiana's governor deciding to open his mouth and insert foot, it's not an isolated event. And this is something that he said it twice in his little press conference that he'll let Trump pick the next coach. And I'm going to be honest, I think there's a non-zero chance that happens.
Yikes. Because Trump knows so much about football, right?
I mean, he probably knows about as much about football as the governor does about running a college.
It's true.
Doesn't stop him.
I have been living through our players' social media this week. Just their highlights of the LSU win and this, that, and the other. Mostly because we were told multiple times, you won't win in Death Valley at night. You won't do it. And we're like, not only did we win, y'all left by the third quarter.
Yeah.
Y'all pieced out. Apparently, the A&M fans that were there were cheering with their cheerleaders because we felt bad.
Oh.
That all their fans left. I was like, I don't know what to say to that. That and Marcel Reed saying that Death Valley was underwhelming is my new favorite statement.
See, these players love saying shit like that. And then, let me see. Let me look at Marcel Reed's stats. Because this would be his third game in Death Valley, or his second game.
Second. But he didn't really play the first one.
Let me see how the first one went before I say anything. Because I take that personally, because people will say that, number one, you had Princely doing the little ass stadium to Utah right before they pushed our shit in. And then I feel like players say that stuff way too much. That stadium's nothing. And then you watch and it's like they can't hear anything. Yep. It's like, okay, man, okay.
Josh Rosen, UCLA coming to Kyle Field. We'll never forget it. After 50,000, it all sounds the same. Okay. False statements. False. Incorrect. You learn real quick.
All right, I'll give him a pass. He looks like he does pretty well on the road. So maybe he's just one of those people that locks in.
He does, but he said the original quote that LSU fans tried to run with was Death Valley was kind of overwhelming last time we were there, or underwhelming last time we were there, but it was an 11 a.m. game, so maybe that's different.
It does. It makes a big difference. Yeah.
And now his quote in the post-game press conference was, they tried to quote me as saying that Death Valley is underwhelming, but shoot, I guess it was.
Got him.
And I was like, okay, Marcel. It's okay. It's okay. I haven't watched the Pulse yet because I'm just not ready. But I'm going to go lay on my bed because I can't really do anything else after this and watch that.
Hell yeah.
After I walk myself up, or I scoot myself up the stairs at my apartment.
Bless it.
I have to hop, grab both poles and it's a great time. Going down is 10 times easier than coming up. I'll tell you that much. I've learned that very quickly. I know because we did reading buddies today. So the 5th graders came to the 1st grade classrooms and read with my kids. And one of the 5th graders came in and said, Miss War, can you come talk to one of your kids? Because he's doing X. I was like, no, he has to come here. And she goes, why? And then she turned the corner around my desk and she goes, oh. Yeah, I can't. No, he has to come here. And he knows that. So don't let him tell you otherwise.
So there's some good games this weekend. You guys are
Vandy and
off.
Texas. Vandy and
Oklahoma and
Texas.
Tennessee, Florida, Georgia. I'm telling you, I don't feel confident all the time. Just most of the time.
I'm going to say,
And but there have been moments. This happened before the Texas game. So I think I may have mentioned this before, but I had a dream, and I'm not somebody that
yep.
believes in dreams, right? Before the Texas game, but in the dream, we were actually playing Georgia. And so I was like, I don't know. Something tells me. So I'm going to continue holding on to this dream from weeks ago and say that the Gators win 24-22 and shock the world.
I'm here for it because that means that the Aggies will probably continue to move up if all that stuff keeps happening.
Aren't y'all already ahead of
Georgia? No, I'm saying in general. If that stuff like that keeps happening.
So what happens if Mike Elko goes to Penn State?
Don't put it in the universe.
You and Sydney all the time throwing shit in the universe about my squad. You can handle it. You can deal with it.
They asked him on his radio show what, like, basically if there was any truth to him being connected to that job. And he pointed at his wife and said, she makes the decisions. She'll let you know. It was like, oh, okay.
Where does wife go to college?
I don't know.
Penn State.
But I did notice, and I sent this in my A&M fan friends group chat. I don't know if I know you watched the A&M Florida game. Marcel has this like big chain that has the number 10 on it. KC Concepcion has a KC one, and like there's a whole bunch of them. Well, again in Death Valley, they passed Elko's wife like by the camera. She has one that says Elko era, and I was like, oh my god, did y'all take a team trip to the jewelry store led by Mama Elko? I need to know. Like, did she like put everybody in the Jeep and was like, let's go?
So I do hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but if Michelle Elko is the decision maker, it is worth noting that they met while in college at Penn State University.
He went to Penn, not Penn State.
So his wife, yes, but his wife went to Penn State, and he was I don't know if it was like hold on. I'm multitasking here, trying to
ruin my day.
Ruin your day. But there is a connection there, so high alert.
Well, I can see it, but he also said she's happy here, so we'll see. But fingers crossed, because I like Elko, and I liked Elko last year. I was not on. I was not on the we lost 4 games in a row or whatever the fuck it was. Let's fire Elko. I was like, no. But here we are, number 3 in the nation. So you never know. I refuse. That's why my thing says Aggie sports enjoyer for now, because I refuse to let them hurt me. So like for now, I enjoy you.
Okay, so I will say that potential fake news alert here. I found one article where they mentioned her going to Penn State, but I don't see anything more definitive than that. But I'm speaking it into existence so you can join the carousel like me and Sydney.
I don't want to be on the carousel.
Nobody ever wants to be on the carousel until it's too late, Shelby.
You wanted to be on the carousel. That's bullshit.
That's because it was too late. I didn't want to be on the carousel anymore, but then once it became apparent that we needed to go for another ride, yes, then I wanted it. But for the past 3 years, I did not want to be on the carousel because it's a cruel, cruel ride. We've been 0 for 4, so surely we can't go 0 for 5, right?
Surely not.
Nobody tricks the University of Florida 5 times.
I'm fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
So yeah, I mean,
Anyway.
I think that we're going to have a revamped offense that is going to be simplified. Everything I've read, it sounds like they're going to really go more up tempo. Some of the things that just drove me crazy about Napier's offense. I mean, I don't see any way somebody with a fresh set of eyes could come in and say, let's just keep doing this, because clearly it wasn't working. So we'll see.
Fair.
But, from an ethereal level, I feel it in the universe. My favorite Christmas movie is Love Actually. And to quote, I feel it in my fingers, I feel it in my toes. Beating Georgia is all around me. I can't remember the rest of the song, but you get what I'm going for here.
I get the idea. I got you.
I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Something's all around me.
It's been so long since I've seen that movie, and I need to watch it again.
What, 10 months? I guess 11 months now, because it's almost November.
On my birthday, my family filled out like a questionnaire about me, and we graded it, and it said favorite movie, and over half of them went Elf. I was like, non-Christmas movie. That doesn't count. All right. Vandy in Texas. Who you got, Ethan?
I'm going Vandy.
Please. Is this in Nashville? No, it's in Austin.
It's in Austin.
Not that DKR has ever been a big, whenever you rank, atmospheres, I've never seen DKR top 10 by someone that's not a Longhorn.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen it, top 10, most difficult stadiums, or, top stadiums or whatever. I always feel like those are just the biggest crock of shit lists, because it's almost always Florida, LSU are a given. And then Texas A&M is huge, so it's in there a lot. But then after that, I feel like it's mostly just whatever teams are doing the best. Michigan Stadium, Ohio State Stadium, they are not elite stadium environments, despite being huge. They have 110,000 people. Washington, Oregon, their stadiums have 50,000 people, but there is a noticeable... Oh, what's up, Adrian? But there's a notable home field advantage that you get from Autzen, from the Seattle Dome or whatever, Husky Stadium, whatever Washington plays in. But most of the time, it's either, this stadium has 100,000 seats, so it has to be one of the hardest, or it's just these teams that happen to be the best, and therefore their stadiums are the best. So I feel like those lists are always BS. And DKR, I've seen it on a few, but yeah, whenever I've watched their games, it just sounds so dead. It just sounds like there's nothing going on, and it's a very weird sensation.
Let's see. Georgia, Florida, I think we know where you stand.
I feel it. I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Ohio State and Penn State are always played at noon, because I don't have a good answer for that, but if I had to guess, it would be... Yeah, Big Ten loves doing it at noon, but also their rivalry probably has some weird connection to before night games were played, that every game they had to play at noon at the end of October, or some stupid bullshit like Tennessee and Alabama. It's we got to play and then got to smoke cigars. That would be my guess. But yeah, big noon kickoff. And then there's probably some historical reason to it. But down with Ohio State and down with Penn State.
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go Florida. I'm feeling it.
Let's go.
You though, remember that last time we were all rooting for A&M, you said no. So let's remember this moment next time this happens.
That doesn't sound like me.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yes, he never goes against the grain, y'all. Never.
Couldn't be me.
Mississippi State and Arkansas. Someone's getting an SEC win. It's gonna happen.
I want to go. I want to go Arkansas here for Sydney's sake. I don't know, man. Mississippi State hasn't won an SEC game in like 2 years. They're like 0-19 or something over their last games. Yeah. So I feel like at some point it has to happen. I feel like they've been close. Like, I mean, they put up a hell of a fight against us. They very nearly got Texas. I mean, Mississippi State's, I don't know. I feel like they're better than their record indicates. Arkansas, I feel like they don't know what the fuck's going on. I mean, I even Sydney doesn't know what's going on. And I feel like there's the chance that we have that chaos situation.
I mean, Arkansas is like 3 fumbles away from being a winning team. So
yeah. Unfortunately,
and Taylor Green would be a Heisman contender on any other team.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on that.
So yeah,
I'm gonna go Arkansas.
I'm gonna go Arkansas too, just because Sydney needs this dub, and I'm gonna root for. I'm gonna root for the Hogs to get that dub. But I think this is going to be a crazy ass game. If this game goes to like 6 overtimes, remember this. If it's a boring game, don't remember this.
It's either there's going to be one or the two. It's going to be offensive shootout, 7 overtimes like A&M LSU, but without the really exciting part.
I don't think there's going to be any offense or any defense played in this game. I mean, the over/under is already set at 66.5. I don't think that there's a world to where that under happens. I think both of these teams might score on like 7 or 8 possessions in a row. It's just 42-42 at halftime or something.
Though Chapin is not that great, and Talon is. So there's that.
Yeah. I believe in him, though. I believe in the cowbell. Just not for this.
Is Mississippi State's running back Fluff? Do we know about Fluff?
I don't.
I saw he was hurt. He got hurt in our game, and I haven't seen him since. Fluff Bothwell. Boothwell? Bothwell? I don't know.
Yeah, it's something like that.
But it's Fluff. I showed my mom a picture of Fluff just because we had talked about him on my date, and whatchamacallit, she goes, he's not big enough to be called Fluff. I was like, okay, that's rude. All right, South Carolina and Ole Miss.
You know, I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I believe in Shane Beamer. I don't know if it's just, I think that the Gamecocks get it done, and then Lane Kiffin goes ahead. He goes ahead and just says, you know what? We already got 2 losses. We're not making the SEC championship game. We're not making the playoffs. I'm going to go ahead and get a jump start on my tenure over in Gainesville, and you guys have fun. So I think Shane Beamer is going to be the Giant Slayer for the first time in his life and do something good, and he will beat Lane Kiffin for me, and then Lane Kiffin can just go ahead and move to Gainesville.
Okay. Well, I hate to burst your bubble. I'm just kidding.
Or hear me out here. Hear me out here. Even better. It's all coming together, but you can't see my hands because of the background, but it's all coming together. Ole Miss wins, but the showing from the fans is so abysmal, so pitiful, that they win by 40 over Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer gets fired, And then Lane Kiffin looks out to the half-full stadium and realizes, wow, I could be in Jacksonville right now playing in front of 100,000 rabid fans, or I could be in Oxford, Mississippi playing in front of a half-full stadium with my top 10 team. So it's a win-win for me.
Fair.
That's really it. Yeah, win-win for me.
That's fair.
Because the Ole Miss fans, they're very active on Twitter, but they do this thing to where they don't show up to the games. And,
Yep.
everybody sees it, including your head coach, who you are insisting is not going to leave for LSU, for Florida, for Auburn, for anybody that could actually win a title, because obviously Ole Miss can't do that. And so they're very active and aggressive on social media and the internet, but for whatever reason, maybe it's poverty, maybe they're just poor and they just don't show up to the games. I don't know what the situation is. Maybe they all moved to Memphis, the other Memphis fans. I don't know. But regardless, either way, either South Carolina wins or Ole Miss wins in front of a half-empty stadium, because Ole Miss fans suck.
All right. I'm gonna come back to Oklahoma and Tennessee, but Kentucky and Auburn. Does Kentucky get their first SEC win, or does Jackson Arnold figure it out for 0.2 seconds?
I thought they benched Jackson Arnold. Did they unbench him?
I don't know. He's the pass leader. I'd have to look at that. It's possible.
I saw that too, and he only has like 1,200 yards, and I was like kind of shocked because Lagway he's only at 1,500 yards, and I was like, damn, that's not good. And then Jackson Arnold with 1,200 yards is the most in this game. So I feel like this is another scenario where Auburn win. I think it's going to be like a 13-12 type of game, and then they fire Hugh Freeze.
So, but if Auburn wins by enough, does Kentucky get rid of Stoops?
I feel like the only thing that would make Kentucky get rid of Stoops, because I think Stoops has a huge buyout.
Probably.
Because they've extended him so many times. I think Mark Stoops is there until he's ready to leave, just because $40.5 million for Mark Stoops' buyout. So I don't think Kentucky football can handle that big of a buyout. And I don't think
they don't got that oil money.
Yeah, they don't have the oil money. They don't have the children's hospital money. They don't have the beach money. They don't have the lumber money. I mean, there's so many things that schools have that fund their programs. And then Kentucky, it all goes to basketball. And then football is just sort of cool. And I feel like Kentucky fans, they might screech and yell and get mad because they're seeing Florida, LSU, Auburn, Arkansas, whoever fire their coaches. And they'll want to get on that bus, but their bus is much shorter than everybody else's bus. And so they don't realize that's the bus they're getting on. And then they're the only ones on that bus. And everybody else is going out looking for fun coaches.
So I don't remember I think it was the SEC. Was the SEC short the one with the nightmare thing, or was that SEC roll call? I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't watch those when my team's doing badly because they make me feel bad.
Well, one of the two was about the Hall of Nightmares, and all the teams that played were in the Hall of Nightmares. And first of all, the Florida guy goes, "Oh, I'm not." He's like, "I always live in a Hall of Nightmares."
Yes.
And I was like, "Okay." But then the Kentucky guy's walking in. He goes, "Are these football or basketball related nightmares?" And the guy goes, "Football." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And like he's walking. I was like, "Oh no. Oh no." But yeah, on that I've got Auburn because I don't trust Kentucky. I'd also like to point out that A&M quarterbacks that transferred from A&M and Marcel Reed have one loss. Not including Zach Calzada, but he's not playing because he's broken, so he doesn't count.
Yeah.
So there's that. They tried to inject him with that glow stick stuff and it no work.
Nope.
It only works at Kyle, apparently.
I'm gonna go Auburn to win by 1 point or in a very low scoring, close game.
Anticlimactic way.
Yeah, and then they fire Hugh Freeze.
Love it.
Another
right,
coach
Oklahoma
gets
and
fired
Tennessee.
after a win.
Oklahoma and Tennessee. And where is this game?
It's in Neyland.
Knoxville, yeah.
I'm going Oklahoma.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, I'm just drinking my haterade. I want all my rivals to lose, so I'm going Oklahoma here. Also, much like you said about Arkansas being just a few fumbles away from being a winning team, Oklahoma's pretty close to being an undefeated team. Like the game against Ole Miss, like that game came down to the wire.
It did.
And the game against Texas, they kind of got like the score, in my opinion, is misleading because I feel like Oklahoma had so many chances to score to put that game away, and they either turned the ball over, they had 2 or 3 picks. It was one of those games to where it was 13-6 with at the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's one score. That's a 1-score game, and it was 7-6 throughout most of the first half. 6-3 at halftime. So the score looks worse than it really was, but I think that Oklahoma's a better team. I think that Mateer's not healthy, but I think their defense is going to shut Tennessee's offense down.
I love it. But yeah, it's bye week in Aggie land, so we are preparing for whatever it is Missouri's going to throw at us in 2 weeks because,
Hold on, I got to insult the ACC real quick.
I'm ready.
The ACC is nowhere close to the SEC ever. And there's a reason why FSU and Clemson and Miami and North Carolina and Virginia and basically the entire ACC is desperate to get out of the ACC. And it's because they know that their talent levels will not ever be back to where they were over the past decade when Clemson and FSU was able to accumulate insane levels of talent compared to the rest of the ACC. Not only are SEC and Big Ten teams dealing with it, but ACC teams are too, but they were already razor-thin margins between the Wake Forests of the world and the Clemson and FSUs of the world. And that's why those teams, Pittsburgh, Boston College, Wake Forest, whoever, that's why they sneak up on these ACC teams. Pitt beat Miami in 2017 to keep them out of the ACC playoff game. We saw Pitt beat FSU. We see these teams beat the powerhouses of the ACC because even the best ACC teams are not even far enough ahead of the mediocre ACC teams to comfortably win. Whereas the SEC, the best teams in the SEC are the best teams in the country. And they may drop a game here and there, but, Alabama losing to a number 5 Georgia or LSU losing to a top 10 Texas A&M, whatever, those teams have 10 NFL players on their roster and can go toe-to-toe with Ohio State. When you watch any SMU and Clemson from last year, how did that turn out for them? Like the quality in that conference is awful. So down with the ACC. I pick Oklahoma to win and stop Tennessee.
Speaking of NFL talent, Cassius Howell is my favorite human being. Okay. Did you see the videos of him like celebrating his sack while Garrett Nussmeier literally looks dead on the turf?
Yeah, I saw that.
Like twice. I was like, okay. Like y'all just literally killed LSU's quarterback, but all right.
Yeah.
But on that note, we will see y'all next week. Hopefully Sydney will be here. If not, keep her in your thoughts because we miss her.
We miss her, but also everything's okay. Like we're being a little bit. We don't want anybody to be worried about Sydney. She's okay. She'll be back next week.
No, she's not. We're not worried about. I just keep her in your thoughts.
She's alive. Everybody's doing okay. She's work is stressful. Arkansas football's terrible. keep her in those kinds of prayers, not
Yep.
the
Not
not,
the
not the
focus
big
prayer.
prayers, but just the hey, I could really use like a good snack kind of prayer.
And then you can pray for my foot. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks and gig 'em, y'all.
Go Gators.